Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen here with Alex King and Daniel Mangina. Today is Thursday. It is March the 26th, 2020, 4 p.m. New York time, but wherever you are in the world, thanks for joining us for another episode of LOA Today, your daily dose of happy. And today's a happy day. I mean it. Today's a really happy day. Daniel, heard about this. I just told to Alex, but there is news that's on the happy side about the coronavirus situation. And it's going to be a little bit of mud on faces for certain people, but for the rest of the world, actually very, very good news. As most of us know, the ongoing projections about number of infections, number of deaths, and so forth were basically, for the last few weeks, building up tremendous amounts of fear about pandemic and so forth. And one of the institutes, the medical institutes behind those numbers is an institute in the United Kingdom, and let me get their name. They are let's see, where is it? Give me I should have had this ready, but I kind of pulled all this stuff up at the last second. The institute, where is it called? I know it was here. Well, it's an institute. I can't find the name of it.
The institute, what is it called? Yeah,
it's going to come out, and people are going to be very aware of it in the next few days for sure. Oh, it's the Imperial College London. That's what it is. The Imperial College London. They're one of the major epidemiology institutes, and they were among those that were projecting the large numbers of deaths and so forth. What was that, Daniel?
Very fancy Imperial College.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, yesterday or late yesterday, Oxford University came out with their own report that refuted what the Imperial College had been saying all along, saying we don't know where they got their numbers from, but our numbers are considerably less than that. And that stirred up a bit of controversy within the medical circles and various science websites.
Even more fancy.
What was that?
Oxford, even more fancy.
More fancy, yeah, right. Very fancy, no doubt about it. But they were getting a lot of pushback within scientific and medical circles saying, oh, no, your numbers are too low. I mean, look how many people have died already and so forth. And then today, the Imperial College themselves, the person, Neil Ferguson is his name, at the college, who had been the one putting out those numbers, came out and admitted that his model was wrong. Oops. That, in fact, the numbers are way over-exaggerated and that his new projections are far below where they originally were. So instead of hundreds of thousands being projected to die in, say, the United States, it's now down to tens of thousands. Which is great news. I mean, certainly it's not good news that people are dying. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I'm not saying that at all. But given how much fear has been going on, this is a big deal. This is a really big deal because now all of a sudden we can get perspective on this and we can start realizing, maybe we were building this up too big. Well, not we. I mean, when I say we, I mean the larger society. I think actually those of us in the conscious creator circles did a great job and are continuing to do a great job. Maybe. But I mean, the population at large is, and it's going to take a while, I think, for the news to get out there because there's going to be a lot of resistance to this information. But, when the institute that puts out the numbers that everybody is going on, everybody's basing their political packages on and so forth, comes out and says, oops, we were wrong by a large amount, that's going to shake some things up. That's just all there is to it. That's going to shake some things up. So just wanted to share that little good piece of news and see how you guys feel.
I think that's lovely.
It is, isn't it? And it makes sense to us, first of all, because we're in the group that was putting out their health and well-being to everybody. And, so we get some validation because whoa, all our efforts have really paid off here. And the doom-and-gloomers basically just got shut out, so this is a good day. This is going to be, no matter how this shakes out, this is going to shake out in wave after wave after wave in the months ahead. This is going to be very, very good.
I have a question.
Great.
Oh, do either of you know anyone with corona?
Not personally.
I know people that know people or know people who have heard from people.
Well, not counting celebrities that have it.
I mean, 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah, 6 degrees. But that's my point is we're 3 people out of the however many people are on this planet and however many people are dying from this, yet none of us know any of them.
Yeah.
6 degrees of separation or not.
I personally don't give much stock to. I was on Twitter Posting. And I was like, all these sad stories. Yes, my mother, this, and don't believe this person was only 20 years old. They had no underlying health conditions. I think a lot of people are bored and making posts about stuff and creating these very fancy stories. It's just like chain letters.
Yes.
Or even those emails. Oh, please, I am without your help, I will certainly die. Please send 100 million Ugandan dollars, or I will certainly die. If you don't forward this post, little Amy not going to get a new heart.
Facts.
You gotta love Nigerians, I tell you. I mean, because the Nigerians send most of those out, and they're wonderful. I mean, they're so creative with those letters. They really are.
They're not even creative. Do you know how many Nigerian princes have tried to catfish me? Oh my God. Stop it.
But could I say, they might actually be princes.
That's quite possible.
Wait. The reason being, so for example, I've got a lot of friends from that part of the world. And being a prince doesn't mean that you've got money in Nigeria because you've got clans and tribes and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Like when you've got areas like, I think it's the Delta region where there is a lot of small tribes and each tribe's going to have a king or a chief and then it's princes. And if, like, for example, my good friend, his dad passed away now, may he rest in pieces.
Pieces.
He was a prince. His dad was a prince, but his dad had like 5 wives. So he had like 20 siblings.
Oh, so they're all princes and princesses.
Princes and princesses.
Okay.
But he didn't have a pot to piss in. So it very may well be a prince who very well may be in love with you based on the unicorns that he saw.
Based on the one profile pic that he saw on my Facebook. Yeah, I'm sure.
No, I'm sure he watches the show. He's like, she's your
Oh, no.
That one was for all of the real princes out there.
Yeah.
Like,
you know they're coming out with a sequel, right?
Really?
Yeah. They started shooting. They know that, yeah, it's been a while, but they started shooting this summer. Yeah.
Daniel's in shock.
Yep.
You
know, I didn't see that movie until I was like 30.
Oh, you're a shameful creature.
I know.
Shameful creature.
It's like in the Black People Handbook, and I was like, nah. I was like, all right, let me see what all the hype is about.
And then you were like,
nah, I was like
to have a date with Lisa.
Well, the reason I watched it was because on what's that show? Housewives of Atlanta. One of the housewives had a Coming to America themed wedding. So I was like, why does she have lions walking her down the aisle? Yeah, she had lions coming down the aisle. It was crazy.
Real lions?
Real lions in cages, standing on both sides of the aisle. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, while Daniel ponders that one, I'm going to take us back to the original topic.
Please do. Because
no, he started with the Nigerian princess and brought me on a dance.
You got to see the look on Daniel's face. The look on his face is precious right now. It's
He's puzzled. He's perplexed. All the P's. Puzzled and perplexed.
So anyway, there's actually more good news. Now, the first bit's going to sound at first like it's not good news, but if you think about it, you'll realize that it is. That same report that came out of the Oxford study also projected that half of the world population already has the COVID-19 virus and don't know it.
I read something like that. Remember the bronchitis I had a couple of weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
They basically had the same symptoms, and they were like, well, back when you had it, they didn't have the test, so you probably had it and got over it.
Yeah.
If you had a cough.
80% of people have
that
are so mild that they wouldn't even know.
Right.
Yep.
And that's the point. So, all the thing that we feared is upon us, and well, I guess there really wasn't anything to fear for most of
Well,
us.
that's where ignorance is bliss. Like, I didn't know it was a whole pandemic that I had, so I wasn't worried about it. I was like, oh, it's bronchitis. I'll sleep it off. It's fine. And then now I'm okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then the third piece of good news is from a Swiss doctor who has basically been digging into the numbers in Italy. Now, of course, there's been a lot of disease in Italy, a lot of deaths in Italy. So it's been a very tough time, very, very high stress, very high levels of tension, a lot of pain, a lot of loss. And so very serious situation. But he also wanted to look more closely to find out, well, okay, who are getting sick? Who are the ones who are doing the dying? Who are the ones who are really suffering from this? And his findings were pretty much in line with what we heard. I mean, the rest of the world might have been hearing something different, but what we were hearing, it was matching up. He says, according to the latest data, this comes from the Italian National Health Institute, the average age of the positively tested deceased in Italy is currently about 81 years old. 10% of the deceased are over 90. 90% are over 70. 80% had suffered from 2 or more chronic diseases. 50% suffered from 3 or more chronic diseases. Less than 1% were healthy, i.e. people without preexisting chronic diseases. Only about 30% are women. And moreover, the Institute distinguishes between those who died from the coronavirus and those who died with the virus. That's going to be an important distinction, I think, in the weeks and months to come.
Wait. What's the difference?
Well, the difference is, did the virus cause their death, or did something else cause their death?
Okay.
Yeah.
So was the virus was a secondary condition?
Right.
It was just something. It's like, I've got a broken leg.
Right.
I get hit by a car.
Mm-hmm.
The broken leg didn't kill me. The car hit me. I just had a broken leg at the time. I have cancer, God forbid. I get hit by a car. I died because of the car.
Right, not because of the cancer. Got it.
And this is, I mean, the numbers are being fudged, but the numbers are being fudged to create the collective agreement of fear.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Anyway,
all during election season. I'm just saying.
What was that? Sorry, Alex?
I said all during an election season. I'm just saying.
I'm sure that's going to be a topic of conversation in the weeks and months to come. One final little tidbit. A lot was made out of the fact that there were 2 young deceased Italians. I don't know why these 2 were picked out, but they were picked out. Both were 39 years old. One was a cancer patient, and the other had diabetes with other complications. So once again, somebody
pre-existing issues,
suffering from a lot of stuff. Yeah. And all this confirms that the fears, like you were saying, Daniel, the fears were overblown. They were tremendously overblown. So once again, more confirmation that we in the conscious creator, deliberate creator arena, who are saying, we can turn this. We can think about healthy thoughts. We can focus on feeling good and know very likely that this is all going to work out well. We're justified. It's now turning out to be true. So, good on us is what I'm saying.
Yay.
Good on us.
My world is taking care of me. Everything is going according to plan. Things are working out beautifully and will continue to do so with ease.
But that's only true for us if we accept it as true for us. If we instead choose to subscribe to this collective agreement of fear, then that's what we're going to end up living.
That's right. Yeah.
By
the way, when you come close and far away, it really throws the volume off. So you got to pick somewhere in the middle.
Okay, where should I be? Should I be here?
Yeah,
sit up straight.
I normally come in for my crew name.
Your close up. Yeah.
Hey guys. But here's what I'm going to stay here. But I think the reason why, in my opinion, references being made to these younger people is, I believe people do genuinely have a desire to help by making everybody aware of what's going on so that people do protect themselves, but it's just contributing to the collective agreement of fear. I've got 2 younger sisters, both of whom are losing their minds about this right now. One is messaging me, and we had a text back and forth, and I was like, yeah, the mind virus is more deadly than thing, and the flu, this isn't as deadly as the flu. That's what I thought 2 weeks ago. It's real and it's here. In our family WhatsApp group, there was apparently a news article that they shared, and Yeah, I do get it. I'm not negating that people that are under 65 will get it. This isn't like an older generation only affecting thing. But if you take care of the normal things that you should be taking care of anyway, in terms of minding your health, watching the hygiene elements in terms of managing the germs. It's raining, wear your raincoat, right? So be responsible. Stay inside if you don't need to go out, because we are now in a reality where this is started to settle in. But even if people just stayed in to allow the collective agreement to blow over, it will be supportive of it. But it all comes down to where you're at. Me personally, I genuinely don't believe myself to be affectable by this. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not like the most perfectly healthy person. Health is something that I'm working on improving. But I'm not really subscribing to this being something that's going to affect me. And even if it did, it's not going to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it will just give me immunity to it and other strands similar to it going forward. Yeah, and that's where I'm at. But regardless, my world is taking care of me. Everything is going according to plan. Things are working out beautifully and will continue to do so with ease.
That's perfect. I love that. And that's exactly right. That's how I've felt about it. I mean, theoretically, I'm in the at-risk group. I'm over 60.
Right.
You know, theoretically. Now, in practice, how did I feel about it? Yeah, right. Not happening.
All right, mate. Cheers, mate. Have a
that
good
one, you know, not happening at all. So,
right.
you know, again, well, how do you feel about it? How do you think about yourself? You know, are you taking care of yourself? Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
if you're taking care of yourself, you know, you're in good shape. Josephine also had a couple of interesting tidbits that she's sharing. She says, good news, over 120,000 people have recovered around the world. You don't hear that one very much, do you?
Mm-hmm.
And over 1,000 people have recovered in the U.S. And there's a 103-year-old Iranian woman who recovered.
Yeah,
nice.
I saw that one.
So apparently, even with advanced age, guess what?
Won't die.
You can recover.
Yeah.
She wasn't done with her innings yet.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. More to be done. More to be done. So yeah, it's just the whole thing is just turning out to be really good vindication. You know what I think is going to happen too is I think there's going to be a lot of finger pointing on this for quite some time. It's going to be entertaining in some ways. I mean, it will be. Let's be perfectly honest. It's going to be just crazy watching everybody say, "Oh, well, you were wrong about this. Well, you were wrong about that." You know. But beyond that, I think what's going to happen is this is going to kind of change. It's going to shake up people's worlds a little bit. I'm not saying they're going to change their minds about a lot of things, but their worlds are going to be shaken up because so many people had hitched their wagon to the medical science train, and the medical science train let them off a cliff. You know, that's going to do something to shake your confidence a little bit. Now, how is that going to iron out? I don't know. I'm not going to project that I know the answer to that. But I do think it's going to mean in one way or another, people are going to become a little more self-sufficient in terms of thinking for themselves, a little more self-sufficient in terms of deciding for themselves what's going on in the world and how they're going to react to it. And even if they don't know, even though most of them don't know anything about conscious creation, just the fact that they're going to do that, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
That means they are, even without having any knowledge of any of this stuff, they're already taking steps to become better at it. How cool is that?
Yeah, very cool.
So I think it's going to be really, really good. I don't see a whole lot of bad news coming out of this. I think it's almost all upside. And that's really good. We don't get days like that every single day, but it's nice when they happen. So we got to
Not lately.
Yeah. I mean, Louise and I went out, took a walk today. Nice weather out there, and
in the beautiful spring flowers you have back there.
Well, that's why I put the flowers back there. Yeah, exactly.
It is a gorgeous day outside.
It's beautiful out. It's beautiful out. And
what's the temp? I don't know where it is where you are. I don't want to hear where it is where Daniel is.
Mid-50s, but you know, compared to where we've been, mid-50s is balmy. So you know,
mid-50s is basically summer. What are you talking about?
It does get a little bit warmer than that in the summer, but still.
A little bit.
Yeah. But it was gorgeous out there. And I'll tell you the other thing. I mean, I've talked a lot. I know you guys have talked, other co-hosts have talked about how this is a time for, this whole period of time has been a time for, you know, changing our perspective, refocusing, kind of building up our ability to block stuff out that we don't want to allow in and focus on what we want and so forth. but it's been a little bit stressful too. I mean, even those of us in these circles have felt the stress of it, and I think we've dealt with it a whole lot better than most people have. But nevertheless, we felt it. Today, out there taking the walk after hearing this news, I was back to being sunny and happy again. It was like the shade had been lifted off of the planet, and everything was just glowing. It was amazing. So, on the one hand, I am proud of myself for how much I've been able to regulate what was happening, how much it was affecting me. And on the other hand, well, when I see how much shade came off at the end, I got a little work to do left. There's still some improvement there.
Oh, man.
Of course, Alex, she was, kind of hiding off, oblivious to the whole thing because she wouldn't even take a phone call about it. So I'm not sure how much it's affected you. I mean,
yeah, I'm glad to hear the news.
Yeah.
That's basically what I've been saying the entire time, but doesn't bother me either way. Like I said, I already had it and I'm immune to it apparently. So works for me.
And I'm thinking that last Friday I was experiencing some mild symptoms, and I'm thinking that was probably it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't been tested, so I don't know for sure.
Yeah. I'm not going to be one of those people that gets in line wasting testing money in places for other people that need it.
No.
If I have a cough, I'll clear my throat. It'll be fine.
And like Daniel said, okay, now I got the immunity.
Right.
Great.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Yeah. Now I can lick my fingers and touch all the stuff at the grocery store. It'll be great. I'm just kidding. I don't go to the grocery store.
Oh,
This is a good one, Miss Alex. I like it. Will you marry me? We'll make a pieces.
I'll make one of your other wives go to the grocery store. I don't do that stuff.
Okay.
Now, Alex was sharing some more good news today. This is of a completely different variety. I don't know if you want to share it on the air. If you don't, let me know. I'll just kind of redirect the conversation.
Which one are we talking? I have no shame. So what are we talking about?
You told me just before we came on, the news regarding your upcoming wedding in a year and a half.
Oh, I found my dress today.
I found my dress.
I mean, it was a trying time, let me tell you. I actually had to physically go out and go wedding dress shopping. And I was like, because I was looking online and I was like, okay, but I don't know what fits and looks good on my body because I think I like something I didn't like and whatever. So I went and tried all the sparkly stuff on, of course, all the unicorn-esque wedding dresses. And I found some stuff that fit my body, not in my price range, but so I went
Not
online.
in your current price range. But we can
Facts.
expand into that.
Well, I'm saving up for my island, so I can't really spend a lot on one day,
I always think both.
Okay, touche. So anyways, went tried wedding dress shopping with my mom and my mother-in-law and all that stuff. We had a great time. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to go on Amazon, see if I can find the dresses that I liked for way cheaper. And I did.
Click.
Hot diggity dog.
Yep. And they'll customize it to my fittings. I just have to measure myself and they will make me a veil for an extra $50, which is great because none of the veils I saw matched the dresses I was wearing. And I'm very finicky about matchy.
Okay. Well, I'm celebrating that in a big way.
Samesies. And all this for $150. What? I know.
It's a good day. It's a good day.
It is a good day. It's a good day all around.
All the way around. Good.
$150. Yeah, Amazon don't play.
Sexual chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Now you don't have to worry about the social distancing as much anymore.
Yeah, because you can't really get it from cardboard, so I'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, there's some people who will tell you that you can, I'm sure, but
Well, allegedly it lasts 24 hours on cardboard, but it can't be transmitted through cardboard. So like I said, I'm fine. Even if my dress is coming from China, I'll be fine.
Yeah. There are a lot of things I keep thinking about regarding China, but I won't go there.
I was going to say it'd be like the Simpsons episode that predicted COVID-19.
Oh, okay.
Where somebody in a factory coughed in a box and then it got shipped to America and then they opened the box and that's how we got it. So yeah.
Unless you believe the conspiracy theorists that say that it was made in America to blame it on China. So
Yeah, I heard that one.
Ugh.
China.
Yeah. They're blaming us, we're blaming them. It's ridiculous.
I'm laughing because I agree with the idea of there being extraterrestrials.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's this new wave of things that it's because this whole thing is interdimensional warfare between different alien races.
Mm.
What are we? Will we like in the crossfire? Is that what's going on?
Or something like that. I didn't really give it enough mind.
He's like, I'm just bringing it out for you to talk amongst yourselves. I don't really care.
Just stirring up a little trouble. That's all.
Yeah.
Be careful that oh no, they're coming to get me for saying the truth.
I know, right? Oh man. Speaking of which, Walt,
the
how did that?
reptilians are using COVID to take back the planet or something like that.
So you're, I'm not going to say you're with the amount of people that are believing that conspiracy theory that they're trying to thin out the herd.
You're asking me?
I think that there are some.
Both of you.
I think there are some deadlier diseases than
Agreed.
a variation to thin out the herd.
Mm-hmm.
I think if extraterrestrials were gonna want to wipe out whole waves of the planet, I don't know. There's a lot more deadly stuff that could be done than a bit.
Well,
of
I don't know.
coughing
I
and-
think they would take the simple approach and just give us a flu. Just like let them take themselves out by not washing their hands.
Well, at least make it a bit more of a deadly flu, you know?
I kind of lean that direction myself because, I mean, if we really do, let's assume for the sake of discussion that the claim is true. If it's true, then they're really incompetent.
Yeah.
Or are
And I
they
think
taking us for granted?
If you can move through dimensions, you can make something a bit tougher than the flu, I think. Wasn't swine flu even worse than this?
Yeah.
We've
Well,
already had
it wasn't the swine flu, it was the vaccine that ended up killing people.
You swine.
You are a cultured swine.
It's like, I don't know. It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. If I can travel between dimensions and move between galaxies, I could probably just do an Independence Day and just wipe you all out, really.
But if you can go transdimensional and move through galaxies, why would you even be interested in wiping out a population? Why?
Facts.
Because
high vibrational. What's the point?
the story, as the story goes, this is the only planet in the entire, and this is just another thing of Earth being at the center of the universe again. This is the only place where physical matter is experienced, and so everyone's fighting over this one plot of land.
Wait a minute. Whoa. We got to take a step back. They're saying that out of all of the universe, with all the planets and all the stars, this is the yeah. Okay. Well, we can throw this out the window now.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Throw the whole universe away.
There's just this egoic need for this to be the only space where physical matter is experienced.
Well, I'm sure everyone on each other planet is saying the same thing.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
One thing you can count on with a conspiracy theory is that it will not lack adherents.
Facts.
And the more scary and horrible the projected thing is, whether it's in the past or the future or in the present, the more adherence it's going to have.
Yeah, there's evidence to support every theory.
Sure, you can prove anything.
Yeah, if you dig deep and look hard enough.
That's what I asked my sister-in-law, when she got her degree in statistics. Isn't it true? Statistics can prove anything? She said, yeah, within limits.
There is evidence to support every theory. And I think what we lose sight of as well is infinite possibilities. Every single variation of this conversation is true on some level, in some dimension. It's just which one you subscribe to. And I choose not to subscribe to this being the very pathetic attempt by interdimensional beings to thin out the herd with the flu.
I also co-sign with that.
Yeah,
I was just bringing it up to stir the pot.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Well, first of all, I don't pay for subscriptions anyway anymore.
Who would do that? You're trapped for life.
In fact, the only kind of subscription I really push is, to subscribe to LOA Today. So I might as well do that one right now because it's a great thing.
Ooh, that was nice. That was nice.
AF hashtag.
That was great. That was. Whew.
So So let's actually do it. If you're not yet subscribed, and I know most of you are, and I love you for it, but if you're one of the few who are not yet subscribed, please become a subscriber. Go to loatoday.net. Instructions are at the top of the page. Daniel proved it can be done in one click. And once you're subscribed, all of our episodes, 5 days a week, come streaming right to your device. And also check us out on YouTube, where you can actually see all these flowers that are behind me. And you can see Alex's unicorn headphones. You can see Daniel crooning into the microphone. It's quite a treat, actually. There he is, kissing that microphone. So Alex, tell people how to do it. How do they subscribe on YouTube?
Well, you go to YouTube and search LOA Today podcast videos. And once you see our smiling faces, click down below at the red subscribe button. Next to the red subscribe button, there's a silver bell. Make sure you click that silver bell and make sure you click all so you'll always be notified when we're live.
And there it is. So yeah, become a subscriber. We love it. We love the growing numbers of people who are deciding to leave all of that herd mentality behind and start becoming conscious creators on a regular basis and have fun doing it. Daniel, how often do we fail to talk about how fun it is to be a conscious creator? You know, maybe we should incorporate that more into what we talk about.
I think so, but I think people get thrown off by the amount of work.
Yeah, I'm the cosign. Yep.
You need to do some work first. It's like, there is a beautiful vista, but you must climb the mountain. I'm going to check it out on Google Earth.
Right?
Check it out on Google Earth.
I'm like, ooh, there's no elevator. I'm not coming.
Can't the aliens teleport me out there? Check it out on Google Earth then, I think.
Not Google Earth.
Fancy that work. Nah, thanks. That's it. Because it is work, but the payoff makes it worth it.
Yeah.
And the payoff isn't at the end alone. That's the part that's what I'm pointing to here. The payoff happens every moment that you're doing
fun as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. It really is fun. Especially the more that we stick with it, because then more and more fun things happen.
I mean, my thing that I always say is, some people are better off not trying to be a conscious creator because they're not ready to put the work in, and actually they're better off just being a
default creator,
being a sheep, and allowing yourself to be a slave to your unconscious blueprint. But if you do join us here on the wild side of conscious creation, you will enjoy it. You will enjoy it. You will enjoy it. You will laugh more, definitely. There may be tears, but the tears you can look at dispassionately as part of the experience and enjoy them too. That's the beauty of being on this side of the fence, Montine. This side of the fence. Yeah,
it's true. It's true. Well, we come into this world knowing we're going to experience the full range of emotions, and that includes the negative and the positive. I think what the best part of being a conscious creator is? It's recognizing you don't have to live in the negative.
Facts.
You can actually spend a large portion of time in the positive. That's for most of us, that's a big shift. For most of us, that's not our normal experience, including most of the sheep people.
Yeah, it took me a strong 15 years. I'm not gonna lie.
Dan's just smiling.
I made it to the top of the mountain, and now I have my prince, and we have princes and princesses together. I rode my unicorn up the mountain. Now I am here with my prince.
Oh, no.
Well, it's true, Alex. I mean, you didn't wait for your prince to come. You went and found him.
But I did wait, though.
But you enjoyed the wait.
Did I? You weren't here. You
Alex,
weren't here yet.
Alex, could you read the notes on the party line? refer to section 3.278, where we just said it was fun.
Oh, my bad. Oh yeah, I enjoyed every minute of it.
Well, could we edit that and take down the video and blame it on
I'm blinking twice for someone to help me.
Actually, I think it was dead on accurate, because both things happened. There were times where she took a step back, and there were times where she went forward, which is exactly the way life usually works.
You are a god at this, Walt. A god at this. And I thought it was just green screens that you did well and happy dances. I salute you, sir.
I thank you. I have to admit, I have gotten to the point where I amaze myself, and I can't believe I did it. So we're on the same page.
Yes.
But it's true. I mean, the journey, because I remember when you first came on the show, Alex, which is about, what, a year and a half ago. And it was one of the early topics on the show was relationships.
It was our first topic.
It was the first topic, and it was a number of shows after that. In fact, it was periodically. We did a lot of stuff on relationships, and you went through a journey. I mean, at one point you were, going gung ho, and you were signed up for all the apps, and then later on you disconnected from all the apps. You were done with the whole thing, and then Facebook comes along. Okay, so you try the Facebook, but you're not going to take it really seriously, and then Katie shows up, and it was like that kind of a lurching journey.
It was a roller coaster, but we got off the ride.
Got off the ride, yes.
We haven't left the park, but we got off the ride.
But it kind of summarizes the way most people's lives go. I mean, there are not too many people who just, they finally decide, okay, time I met somebody, they go right out and they meet somebody and they're done. They marry and have kids and they're happy. I mean, it just doesn't work that way for most people.
Yeah.
Hear the question. Why? Why does it not?
Well, it's an interesting question. Why does it not, Daniel? Because the fact that you raise it indicates that you also have an answer.
I have an answer.
I also have an answer.
The answer.
I'll take an answer at this point. I'll take any answer.
Because we go around the playground based on our expectations on what we're going to experience on the playground. Our unconscious programs create a backdrop against which we experience this adventure that we call life. And so for those who have it imprinted in their program that it must be a struggle, will have a struggle. There are those who have exactly the same experience and see it as a whole load of fun. Yeah. There are some that on some level would never want it to be that easy. And there are some that do, and therefore have it that easy. But the mind does not lose.
He's absolutely right. Because how many times did I say, "Oh, Walt, I just got to kiss a bunch of frogs before I meet my prince"?
A lot of times, actually.
Yeah. That was like my tagline for like a year.
It was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Frog
so
time.
How many did you kiss? I have to ask.
Bro, like even before I met you, like it was a long line. Put it that way. It was a long line.
A lot of clicks.
Oh, I definitely in the last year I was doing a lot of clicking. I was like, all right, I don't have time for this. Bye.
Anybody got time for this?
So you basically did what you needed to do. I mean, you set your mind, you set your intention, you took some action. That often gets left out of the equation.
True. We did take some action.
But you took it on more of an inspired basis rather than, oh God, I'm so desperate basis.
Yeah. Because I feel like if you're desperate, you're not going to get anywhere with it. Because now you're just thirsty looking for water.
I can tell you from experience that you're right.
And any couple do. I mean,
you had a similar thing, didn't you, Mr. Walt, with your adventure with finding your good lady?
Oh my God, yes. I mean, the first 20 years of my adult life were misery. The rest was great. The first 20 years were just awful. Yeah. Well, sometimes we have to learn the hard way. I mean, you kind of opined a few minutes ago that some people are better off as default creators. I'm not sure that I was better off, but that's certainly where I learned a lot. I just didn't know it at the time.
This is where I come back to the whole quantum discussion, in that every variation of you is a quantum potential that's existing somewhere. Every single variation of this moment is happening because infinite possibility is infinite possibility. It just so happens that I currently now am enjoying the variation of you that does it. We don't miss out on anything. We just experience one strand of it consciously in this timeline, but every single one of the timelines happens too.
Yeah.
You can never miss out. It's just another combination.
Do you find that that thought process to be challenging, comforting, enjoyable?
Overwhelming?
I find it to be what it is.
What it is. Okay. So you don't really have an emotional reaction of any kind. Okay.
I find it to be what it is. And it does help when overwhelm or FOMO settles in. For me, that's been great to be like, or I could just enjoy this moment here, which is the one I'm experiencing now, and ask in this strand, what do I want to experience next?
Okay.
And go from there.
Yeah.
And that's a cool place to start with, just narrowing down what are the infinite strands of possibility I experience in this level of consciousness. Because at a higher level, the oneness that we return to, the deeper, the less dense that we get, means that even every one of your experiences on some level of consciousness, albeit far beyond my conscious awareness, I'm experiencing too.
Which is kind of spooky.
Yeah. A little bit.
So I know what you did last summer, Mr. Walt. Every quantum variation of you. Just not hearing this neat sack.
Tell me, I'm curious.
No, you don't want to get FOMO. You don't. Enjoy the moment here.
What do they call them? Hearing this. What do they call them? Sleeve. I'm not hearing this sleeve.
Oh,
Okay.
Has anybody tried that, by the way?
not
No.
yet. I still have loads of TV shows to get through.
I watched the most recent.
That's the last one for a while, so hold on to it.
Poppycock.
Yeah, they shot up to 18, but they had to put the editing room is on pause because of the whole 6 feet thing. So yeah, we're on hold
Darn
for like
you.
at least.
Darn you, COVID.
Yeah,
Darn you to hell.
that's
You
when
are
it got
all-
real for me, when they paused Supernatural. I was like, well, god damn it. Because at first I was like, meh. Then they're like, oh, because of COVID-19, we're shutting down production. I was like, now it's affecting my life personally. I don't feel like this at all.
I may not know anyone affected, but I know somebody affected. Right.
So 20% of the population here in the U.S. are unemployed. Restaurants are closed everywhere. Bars are closed. Most public places are closed. But what got Alex was when they closed down Supernatural.
Facts.
Okay.
Yeah. I was okay with not having pizza with my episode. I was okay with that. I don't drink anyway. I don't need a bar. I'm fine. But you take away my TV show, son of a biscuit.
Well, it just shows we have priorities in life. That's all.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But I've reprioritized in the last couple of days because my old chorus teacher has been posting puns like on the hour, every hour for the last 2 days.
Puns?
Puns. And I'm literally like, okay, you post one more, I'm logging off the internet because I can't handle it.
Some
Why
people
puns?
really don't handle boredom.
Well, she's bored. Number one, she's a teacher, so she's home. So she's
Okay.
bored, and she's trying to cheer everybody up because all the other parents are flipping out and struggling because they have their kids 24/7 now. So
Oh no, you have to be a parent.
yeah, no.
Oh no, you're not allowed to.
Well, it's different when you're a parent, but you get your
subcontract your childcare and child rearing system. You must
Yeah,
take
well-
responsibility for the child that you had time knocking boots on and now
Yeah.
must actually rear.
Yeah,
Oh, sad times. Okay.
life is
You would
rough.
think if you knock out a kid, you're gonna have to grow up a kid. Oh,
Yeah, no, you get it once they turn 7, you get a 6-hour break. So
7?
everyone was depending on.
Have you not heard of preschool?
Well, preschool's only like 2 hours, but
Really?
yeah,
Ariana was out the whole day.
it's a half day up until kindergarten. Then they go full day, and then after that, it's full day. But like I said, it's
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Well, guys.
I mean, I only had puppies, so I really couldn't care. My sister, however, is struggling. Like, she's like, "What do I do with this child? I can't." She's only got one.
Wow.
I don't know.
Well, Ariana, it was a bit easier until they closed down the pool. We have a pool in our property.
Mm-hmm.
So the playground's been closed off in the pool. But
Right.
I'm going to get her a little blow-up pool for my roof.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a family that I knew many, many years ago. And I'm sure they're all grown by now, but there are probably other families like them. I was working at a company where I was managing an operation, and I had a very small staff running this production operation. And I brought this one guy in, young guy with a very young family. And I learned, very shortly after he joined, I learned some information that made me realize the company we were working for wasn't going to be around very long.
Ooh.
And so I covertly told my staff about it. I started making plans. I urged them to start making plans. And sure enough, about 6 months later, the whole thing shut down. But anyway, before that happened, this was before I knew about law of attraction. Excuse me. And it was before I knew how all this stuff worked. But law of attraction was working for me because I just kind of put out there, I need to get another job. I need something soon. And within like a day, 2 days, a competitor of my boss came to visit the company to talk to me to siphon me away and go work for him.
He poached
Okay, this is good. I like this. But I was also concerned about this guy I just hired. Now, I also had some others who worked for me, and I was concerned about them too, but I was pretty sure they'd be able to work things out. This is the one I was worried about because he didn't have a whole lot of work experience. And I came to find out he had 13 kids at home that he was taking care of, and they weren't all his. 13
Golly.
kids. Yeah.
They're not
Oh.
his. That bit I don't get. Did he borrow them? Are they from the
Stepchildren. Or
I can't
uncle
tell
or
you,
aunt or
I can't tell you that I know the story because I didn't know the story. I knew some of it, but not all of it. But the bottom line is they weren't all his kids, but he was just a guy with a big heart, and he just would take care of these kids because they had nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I gave my notice and went through the whole motion of going to the next company. My last day on the job, he asked me to come home and meet his family.
Wow.
I said, oh, okay. Well, sure, if you'd like me to. So I went to meet his family and come to find out he was the most grateful guy in the world because I was the only person who was willing to take a chance on him. I had hired him when nobody else would. And even though he was about to lose his job, he wanted to introduce all of his kids and his wife to me as the person who was the one person who had stood up for him. And meanwhile, I'm basically melting into the floor here. I mean,
right.
But here's the part that blew my mind. They were living in a 2-bedroom apartment.
How many kids in a 2-bedroom apartment?
13. Okay, so they weren't foster children because that's illegal.
Nope.
Wow.
They weren't borrowed because why would you borrow for that? I don't understand.
They were stacked into these bedrooms.
Oh no.
It was like bunk bed after bunk bed.
Yeah.
And we get there at it was after the workday, after they had a little party for me. And then I went to go visit him and his family. And we got there like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. The kids were all in bed. He gets them all out of bed to come meet me.
Wow.
And meanwhile, I'm like so embarrassed. Like, I really didn't want to wake all these kids up,
Right.
But he wanted to make sure that they all met me. And they were all very sweet kids. They were all very good natured and so forth. And I think about him periodically. Same with Nathan. I think about Nathan periodically. I hope things improved for him. He really deserved it. But I also think about a family like that going through what's going on now. Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
They're all packed into this apartment and they can't go anywhere because they're on lockdown.
Yeah. There's no 6 feet in that house.
I mean, you want that house to be a group of people who really love each other and who really care about each other, because that's how you're going to get through something like that.
Yeah, I know.
And there are people who, not tons of people, but there are people who live like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I just felt like I needed to put a word out there if you're one of the people who are living like that, who are in that kind of a situation, my thoughts are with you.
Yeah.
It was just,
that's insane. I can't even
like that, but I've never met anyone that's actually seen one of those
situations. Yeah.
And I mean, they clearly had next to nothing, and yet they had each other. That
so
part
they were grateful.
Really sticks with you.
Yeah.
It really sticks. I mean, that was a tight-knit family, even though they weren't all blood.
Yeah.
Can I make an inappropriate joke at this point?
Yes,
sure, go ahead.
Always.
Is this why you decided to stick with cats, Mr.
I meant to bring a kitten on air for you guys today.
A kitten?
Yeah, well, because I remember I told you one of Kenny's cats had 4 kittens.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so now they're at the age where I can take them out of the cage and touch them and stuff, but they're still young enough that they don't have dander yet, so I can play with them. It's fine.
Mm.
But yeah, so I was playing with Tigger today. Yes, I've named them. They're not staying, but I've named them.
Well, that's what you do with kittens.
Yeah, they're adorable, and I don't even like cats. I like kittens though; they're cute.
Kittens are fun. Puppies are fun.
Kittens are cute. Cats are assholes. Sorry.
I have interesting views on quick tangent. People who support animal rights and have pets.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. I'm waiting.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I want to hear.
Hold on. He's building up the suspense. Let's wait.
He is. Yeah. Sorry. I'll be quiet.
Wait for it.
I think the two ideas are diametrically opposed.
Explain.
You care about animal rights, but you keep them as a slave in your house for your entertainment.
Oh, they're not slaves.
Ooh.
They're not slaves.
And I bet they said that about humans a little while ago.
Ooh, touche. A song from my people.
They've been domesticated. They've been this way for a long, long time. Yes, we've heard that before, haven't we?
Mm.
All I can tell you is that in theory, we own 2 cats. In practice, they own us.
Factuals.
I mean,
Just saying.
that's
My
the way
dogs run the show. My dogs definitely run the show.
Because I've got people I know that are
Mhm.
like, how dare you eat the flesh of an animal with a soul while
Yeah.
they keep a slave animal at home for their entertainment.
Well, what about when you feed them the flesh?
The only reason why you're feeding them is because they've been domesticated and robbed.
No, I
from
mean, like, if
land.
the people who are eating the souls,
Yeah.
and then they're taking their soul food, and no pun intended, taking their soul food and giving it to their domesticated animal.
I know one person who they're of this animal rights type, and like they're gonna have a pet dog, and I'm like, but you don't allow any flesh to be eaten in your house. Oh, they're vegan dog food now.
Oh, now you're punishing the animal. I mean, hold on. Okay, so hold on. It's one thing to, like, give them a home and everything, but now you're forcing them to eat the way you eat.
Oh, is that what we call slavery encampment now? Giving them a
Well,
home?
I think slavery encampment would be the pound. I'm rescuing these things from the pound.
Oh, so they're allowed to stay in a nicer slave encampment
Yes, the big house. Yes.
where they get to go and come back to their slave master, who puts.
Do you want me to? Are you
around
telling
their
me to let my dogs out in the woods right now? Is that what you're telling me? They won't make it without kibble. They won't make it.
Well, I'm sure that's what the slave master said about letting their slaves free.
You know what? I'm done. I'm canceled. I'm out. I'll see you guys next week.
But do you see the logic of the argument at least?
Yeah, no, I definitely see your point.
So me personally, I think that this is the way. I think that having pets is fine. Have pets. But I don't understand have pets and then. But animals have souls and must be free and not harmed, apart from my slave animals.
Well, I don't eat meat, but that's not for any specific sole reason. That's just because it's too much chewing. So I'm a lazy chewer. So I love pets just because they're snuggly, they're adorable, and they love you back. And you don't have to, raise them like kids, because that's just too much work.
Got you.
Yeah, and that's where I stand on that. I'm a pescatarian personally. That's because lobster melts in your mouth.
And I'm staying away from the conversation entirely because I learned a long time ago never to try to have a conversation about slavery with anybody who's got black skin. It just doesn't make sense.
Walt is smart. He's like, I'm just gonna go on mute and eat my cheese and mind my business. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm about to eat my cheese and mind my.
My name's Bennett and I ain't in it.
Get out of this one. Click, click, click. Anyway, that's my my 2 cents.
And I raise you $1.
Prisoner. We can call them prisoners.
But they're not.
Call them what you want. I mean, as far as I know, my cats rule the roost, so I don't think it makes a whole lot.
Even if they are prisoners, they're prisoners in like the white collar prisons where like Martha Stewart went, where she plays tennis and eats lobster all day. They have the good life.
Yes, the good life.
I mean, if I were to describe to you how many times during the day Louise and I have to get up to let the cats in or out of the front door, you would just you'd be in shock, So.
Yes. Rusty's looking at me like, are we going outside?
I'd be in awe because I'm not doing it.
I don't think about the 45th time. It's like, enough already. Make your mind up. Are you in or are you out? Which is it? Come on.
Yep. In or out. Make up your mind. Well, on nice days, I just leave the door open because I'm like, you decide amongst yourselves when you're going in and out, because I don't have time for all this. Luckily, the weather's been great, so I can do that all winter.
That's actually part of our dream of, we're trying to get our dream house, and part of the dream house is having a cat door, so the cat can literally go anytime if she wants to, And
we want to get a new door with a dog door in it.
Isn't that just a cat flap?
Yeah.
Well, it
Well,
can be.
Well, actually, a true cat door isn't just a cat flap. It actually, you put a microchip in the back of their neck so they can only recognize them. And so it opens for them and it doesn't open for anything else.
Yeah, they're super fancy now.
Yeah.
Have you seen the super fancy litter boxes now?
What's that one?
My mom was telling me they're all mechanical. So every time the cat goes in the bathroom, this arm come down and sweeps the litter box.
Oh yeah.
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 It's like, yeah.
That's on the wish list, I think.
Agreed. I'm telling Kenny to put it on his wish list because we have 7 cats at this point, and I'm done.
Oh yeah, 2 is plenty. 7 is excessive. 7, that's like having 13 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Factuals. Yeah.
That's pretty much what that is. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to say we have found the most unique and individual way to celebrate the fact that we have this wonderful coronavirus news, that it's not nearly as bad as everybody thought it was going to be, and the powers that be are saying, oh, we overestimated by like 10 times and so forth, and we turned it into a conversation about cats and dogs. It's just an amazing transition, I have to say.
And rabbits and hamsters and guinea pigs also.
That's right.
Well, I believe they're more slaves than dogs and cats are, because they're stuck in cages within a house. That's not how they're meant to run around, but dogs have and cats have the free range of the house. So at least, they have yard time, So we started off with the COVID-19 numbers are great. And then we ended off with pets are slaves.
And
that's how the hashtags went. Just so
all you have to do is add guinea pigs on wheels. And now you've got, the average wage worker. And now you got an entire metaphor for everything.
Oh, man. Well, the guinea pigs have quit because unemployment is very low or high right now.
Oh, jeez. We do have unusual ways of reaching for those high-flying moments here on the show.
Guys.
Daniel's done. Alex is done.
I was done 20 minutes ago, but I kept checking back in. So.
I promised that I would ask Daniel about the latest T-shirt because he does a different T-shirt every day. So
yes, what do you have today, sir?
What's today's T-shirt?
Do you even spiritual?
I like it.
Spiritual. Oh yeah, that's good.
The actual ones that are for sale have a question mark. By the way, the question mark is missing from this one. This was a sample.
So why are your T-shirts just words and not hashtags?
I have the hashtag. Oh, not on this
the
one.
The chair's in the way. I was like, you have a hashtag on your chair that you change every day?
The hashtag is on the back of the neck.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to make it a
website. You just hashtag it now and it brings up everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I hashtag.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's the way it works.
Bring it all up.
Okay. Well, as usual, it's wacky and weird, and that's what Thursdays are all about. So thank you guys for your wacky weirdness. We really appreciate it so much. Thank you also.
No problem.
Josephine in the live stream was going crazy. I'm sorry I didn't give you as much airtime as I did the other day, but at least I mentioned a few of the things. I mean, she was just, going nuts again with all this stuff.
Is she the new Jeffrey? Is that what's happening?
I think, yeah. Jeffrey's kind of on vacation in a sense. I mean, he still shows up to tune in, but he's just not posting as much. Josephine she tells me that she's inspired by what we talk about in terms of it inspiring her poetry. She's a poet.
Oh, nice.
So this is
Look at us putting good out into the world.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how about that? We're inspiring. Isn't that cool?
I like it.
Yeah, good stuff. So thank you, Josephine. Thank you especially to our podcast listeners as well. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.